Well, again, it was one of those places where a lack of experience on his behalf, and possibly I should have shouted a little bit, but we had a puncture, simply a puncture on the front right, and on the, I think it was Harry stage. Towards the end of it, it was a downhill left-hand corner with a large sandbox on the right side that was full of sand, and of course the car wouldn't, with the puncture there and the downhill, the car just wouldn't turn in, and we went quite slowly, but, well, when I say slowly, let's say 100 k's per hour, but straight into the sandbox and stopped very quickly, and that was that. I think the Opel press department put out somewhere that, or some press department put out that we had retired with a blown head gasket, but I think that was due to not having a radiator. Yes, I remember it was really Audis were the favourite, and I think there was Hanu and Michel and Stig, and knowing Audi it was at least 2 or 3 others, and they were quite famous for their team orders, and Stig was leading, as I remember it, and I think we were the ones who was really putting the pressure on the others, and with one stage to go we had a chance to finish second, I believe, and pass Hanu, and so Audi couldn't do anything with team orders, and we made an absolute flat-out attack, and we clipped a stone, in fact, and ended up with a puncture, but the pressure meant that Audi couldn't do anything, and Stig won, and he was eternally grateful for that, and I think bought us a bottle of cognac each.
How did Henri react to having Audi Rotherham as a teammate?
I don't remember any bad comment. I mean, of course they kept each other awake, pushed each other along. Yes, I mean, I don't think Henri ever had a great ego problem. I mean, I don't think he needed stage times to prove to him that he was quicker than anybody. A little bit of a funny story that year was that towards the end I think we were lying 5th and 6th, and there was nobody that we could catch, and nobody could catch us, and we started playing a bit with Harry and trying to guess what stage times we would do. And on the last stage of the day, it was called Saint Roch, and I can't remember the time, but I think we decided, Harry and Terry against Henri and I, we said we would try and guess the stage time, and the one who got closest to what they thought they could do should be the winner, and the other one would have to buy lunch. And of course, in the normal Henri system, I mean, Harry just tried to drive exactly what he thought should be 10 seconds slower than he had gone best in practice. And I mean, Henri's idea was to drive absolutely flat out, quicker than he'd gone anywhere in the rally, and then sit just before the flying finish line to get the exact time. So Harry bought the lunch. I feel the age thing, but I think Henri was, I think he was often looking to find an advantage where someone else would. I mean, everybody tends to go a bit slower in the dark or fog or whatever, and Henri, even if he didn't like fog or whatever, he would tell the other guys that he liked it, just to try and unsettle them a bit. Yeah, I know that he thought about the lines a lot, and I don't remember so much that year, but I remember in the Opel Manta, he had practiced the lines so much, and then he said when it came to the rally, really at absolute full attack, he found it so difficult to hold the lines. But yes, I mean, he was one to really think about the lines through the corners and really practice cutting the corners well, and really keeping the speed up. He could be extremely difficult, I must say, to be with at times.
In what way?
Yeah, I mean, you could decide to start practice in the morning at 8 o'clock, and Henri could turn up at 11. But similarly, you could arrange the practice at 8 o'clock, and if you as the co-driver should come down at 5 past and Henri had been there at 5:02, he could be very upset about it. And on the other hand, I think we had quite a supportive relationship with him, in that he would often call and ask advice about this or that. And I mean, the thing to remember about all the years that I was with Henri in the Talbot and the Opel is that we always had an inferior car to everyone else, because we were always struggling with certainly no more horsepower and often less horsepower than everybody else, and also with two-wheel drive. I mean, we often commented that the number of rallies we would have won if the Quattros hadn't been there would have been enormous, because I mean, he was very often quicker than all the other rear-wheel drive cars. And in a way, we got on very well together. socially and most of the time in the car, but I often feel that if I knew now, or if I had known then what I know now, it could have been a much more productive partnership. With the experience of today and Henri's talent then, it could have been something special.
Vaikka Henkka oli vakiinnuttanut paikkansa ralliammattilaisena, hän tunsi yhä vetoa myös ratapuolelle. Prototyyppien kisat välähtelivät suunnitelmissa moneen kertaan ja niiden lisäksi hän kokeili taitojaan välillä myös Formula 3 ratissa.
Mä muistan kyllä, että Henri jo alettua ajamaan rallia, niin hän kuitenkin muutaman kerran halusi kokeilla vielä tuolla formulapuolella joitakin kilpailuja ja erinomaisella menestyksellä. Me silloin sitä puntaroitiin vaan sitten, että onko meillä taloudellisia edellytyksiä niin kuin jatkaa sillä ratapuolella. Ja kai ne puntaroinnit johti sellaiseen arvioon, että tämä olisi sittenkin varmempi tie tämä rallipuoli. Ja toisaalta henkilökohtaisesti mä koin sen hetkisten kokemusten valossa turvallisemmaksi kuin tämän ratapuolen. Silloin tapahtui ratapuolella niitä onnettomuuksia tämän tästä ja ralliautoissa oikeastaan ei nimeksikään.
And we used to go out and have a drink and stuff thing. And then he always said, I really, really want to get back into single-seater racing. And then one day, because I'd been a teammate of Stefan Johansson's in 78, 79, Formula 3, Formula 2, when I was a driver. And then Stefan and I always were good friends, and it turned out that Stefan and Henri had been good friends together in karting in the mid-70s. And just the relationship seemed to grow from nothing because Henri was so easy to like. And anyway, we decided one day, it was towards the end of the season, we'd had a particularly good season. We'd won some races, so there was the opportunity, one car available, and we did one race at Silverstone. And in fact, I think we started by the first race at Thruxton, which was his first race, and we could not believe it. He finished third in his first ever race. And then we came to Silverstone for the last race of the year, and he won it. And that was the nature. He had this such unbelievable natural talent. And the charisma and the style of the person was so infectious that you automatically knew he was going to be a big star. And of course he was, well, certainly for me. In '82 we ran Senna, and quite honestly he was very special straight away. That was the first time he ever drove in Formula 3, was with us. And it was a similar type of feeling with Henri. You can feel it, you know, this commanding position, this total confidence, this knowledge of their own belief, that here was somebody who really knew what they were doing, even though they had no experience in single-seaters. They'd been in the rally program for such a long time. So I suppose to say, I don't want to build it up too high. I want to try to be very careful about my assessment. But I have to say truthfully that had he gone on a Grand Prix style route instead of the rally program, nobody knows how good he could have been, other than the fact that he certainly would have been a Grand Prix winner. But to be a continual world champion would have been something that you also need some great amount of luck. And in hindsight, I'm not sure if he had all the luck.
Osittain ehkä ratahaaveittensakin yllyttämänä henkkaili muutosten aikakauden 84 lähestyessä. Hän oli solminut monimutkaisen sopimuspaketin, johon mahtui eri autoja, sponsoreita ja karttureitakin, kunnes Juha Piironen kauden edetessä vakiinnutti paikkansa.
Vuonna 1983 ilmeisesti jossain alkuvuodesta niin Henkalle oli tarjottu Peugeot-sopimusta, ensinnäkin testaamista paljon ja sen lisäksi niin 84 vuodelle muutamia ralleja. Ja hän ei niistä ollut ilmeisesti niin kiinnostunut sen takia, että hän ei ole saanut kovinkaan täyspainosta MM-ohjelmaa. Ja samanaikaisesti hänellä oli Porschen ja tupakkayhtiö Rothmansin kautta niin tarjottu sellaista Porsche EM-ohjelmaa, joka olisi seuraavana vuonna sitten ollut vähän isompi MM-ohjelma neliveto Porschella. Ja se ehkä isän perintönä vähän Porsche kiinnosti enemmän ja Henkka valitsi sitten sen ja sen täytteeksi hän sai vielä Lancia-ohjelman, joka käsitti ensimmäisenä vuonna 3 kisaa, ja jossa oli myös niin kuin optio seuraavalle vuodelle jatkaa sitä. Portugali oli ensimmäinen varsinainen tallikisa Henkan ja mun kanssa, ja me ajettiin 5 pätkää pohjat sinne kuuluisille Sintran pätkille, ja 6. pätkällä auto täysin romuksi. Se oli aika vaikuttava avaus noin kartanlukijan kannalta niin kuin miettiä sen kaverin luonnetta, joka pystyy ajamaan koko ajan pohjia. Ja tavallaan sääli, koska mulla että sinä vuonna olisi ollut mahdollisuus saada oikeinkin hyvä tulos, että tämä takapyörä osui siihen puuhun ja auto lähti pyörimään kaiteiden välissä ja romuttui täysin. No Kostasmeraldassa, niin Henri tuli Kostasmeraldaan suoraan Irlannin ympäriöstä, missä hän oli taukopaikalla leikkinyt mikroautoilla ja osunut johonkin vaijereihin ja loukannut jalkansa. Ja hän käveli lentokoneesta Kainalasauvoilla ulos ja mä ajattelin, että tästä ei nyt tule varmasti koskaan mitään tästä kisasta, mutta että sinnikkäästi vaan hän lähti Kainalasauvojen kanssa niin könkkäämään Porscheen ja ajettiin kisa, joka loppujen lopuksi vissiin voitettiin 56 sekunnilla. Se oli sellaista huumassa ajoa. Se oli Henkalla oli sellainen fiilis ikään kuin hän haluaisi korvata tiimille sen, että hän on niin kuin omalla hölmöilyllään satuttanut jalkansa ja hän haluaisi näyttää, että siitä huolimatta hän pystyy tekemään sen duunin, mihinkä hänet alun perin on palkattukin.
Juha, ajat sä siirtymät kaikki vai?
No jotain näistä siirtymistä, sellaisia läpitempiä, missä on aika olevan.
No hitaammat ajat.
Ei.
Again, it was one of those psychological advantages, I think, if he could appear with a walking stick or his arm in a sling or whatever and then get into the car and beat someone. It was a combination of all the things he liked, a psychological advantage and a bit of showmanship.
No ensin Porschella alkoi aika lupaavasti. Meillä oli nämä 3 kisaa, mitä me silloin keväällä ajettiin. Hänellä oli 1 keskeytys niin kuin pohjalla ja sitten me oltiin 3., 2. ja sitten me viimeinen kisa niistä voitettiin. Ja kesän mittaan Henkka voitti sitten tämän Ian Greenrodin kanssa, ne voitti vielä pari kisaa lisää, että sitten me voitettiin yhdessä Madeiralla ja mä luulen, että me oltiin siinä vaiheessa tasoissa, kun me sitten taas siirryttiin Lanssialle ajaa Jyväskylään ja siellä tehtiin 1 pitkä hyppy ja Henkka oli selkävaivannut siitä lähtien, kun hän sen mikro-onnettomuuden ajoi, niin se äityi niin pahaksi sitten antibrallin harjoituksissa, niin ei hän voinut enää ajaa. Hän lähti kotiin ja hänet leikattiin sitten välittömästi ja se kausi päättyi siihen.